Yeah, Rahul, look, it is preposterous that Patina Pravesam has been banned, and that too by invoking clauses of forced labor. Really? This is crazy. You mean devotees are being forced to carry the pontiff they so revere? What next? Will Sidia Gestatoria, the 1,000-year tradition of carrying a Christian priest, be also banned? Will you also ban the tradition of carrying a heavy wooden cross on Easter parade on the pretext of forced labor? Will they apply this to the pulling of the Lord Jagannath temple and then ban it on the pretext of forced labor, Rahul? We are living in an age of wokeism, victimhood, selectivity, and political correctness. And honestly, I don't know if you are allowed to tell the truth anymore. This disease of pseudo-secularism has blunted our senses. Why should there be two rules for religious gatherings or functions or festivals? You remember the Sabrimala verdict? In the first place, was it discrimination or perceived discrimination? There are many Hindu temples where the men are barred entry, and there are many Sabrimala temples where women are allowed entry. It was only in that particular Sabrimala temple that, because of the vow of the deity to remain a brahmachari, menstruating women in a particular age bracket are not allowed entry. As for menstruating women, by the way, it is forbidden for a menstruating woman to touch the Quran, recite a complete verse, enter a mosque, do salat, perform tawas, fast, have sex, 56, 79, 222, and Hadith Sharif. So are you going to redact these verses? You want to liberate Hindu women, but cat gets your tongue when it comes to allowing entry of Muslim women inside mosques or ordaining women as Catholic priests. You want to ban Jallikattu, but are scared to ban halal that has been deemed incredibly cruel for the animals. You want to ban Patina, but are scared to ban Muharram procession where men beat and injure themselves to near death and blood flows like a river. Rahul, just 30 seconds. A progressive secular state that correctly removes discrimination from the Hindu religion, but cowers behind a lamppost like a wet cat when it comes to other religions is not a progressive secular state. Just 10 seconds, I repeat. There is a fundamental contradiction between Articles 21 and 25 of our Constitution. If you follow one, you cannot follow the other. There are thousands of religious dictats that directly contradict Article 21, your right to life, dignity, and liberty. You would have to be an atheist to override Article 25 and support all at all time. I am being with them, but are my countrymen allowed to do that?
Well, let me tell you, there are more examples. The Tazia is carried by Muslims during Muharram.
Yes.
Cross is carried by mourning Christians. Tara Devi is carried out of reverence in Nepal by Hindus.
Crazy.
It is said that if she touches the ground in her child incarnation, the ground will open up. Nothing will be left. Tomorrow, you will ban the carrying of a beer by pallbearers. Why? Because, they mean the beer, the pall might leave permanent indentations in shoulders. I don't know what next will be pulled up. My concern is that once again, the action seems to be selective, because if it is about human rights, then there are so many other examples. And I want
Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
To all my fellow panelists and who spoke before me, to so self-assuredly that there is no behind it. I'm afraid it reeks of ignorance, because I read the word
21, which categorically says that a Muslim should never ever marry a polytheist unless the polytheist is converted to Islam. A Muslim slave is better than a polytheist. So get your facts right. But Navika,
we
while
can't
no
hear him
single mob atrocity is more horrific than the next. The lynching of the Dalit Nagaraju by Muslims, reminiscent of how Ankit Saxena was beheaded by Muslims for marrying a Muslim woman, is a shocking case of communal bigotry. If a Muslim instead of a Hindu man had been killed by a Hindu instead of a Muslim mob, they'd have cried fascism and Hindu Taliban from here to Timbuktu. We have seen this play out almost every day since 2014 by these gangrenous selectivists, there's no other word for them, who claim they speak truth to power, but power to them is always Modi. Even when hate crimes happen in non-BJP ruled states, I ask you, what if in the Palghar lynching, instead of the saffron-clad sadhu, the victim was a skull cap wearing sherwani-clad bearded Maulana, brought out by the UP police and gifted to the lynchers with a BJP minister looking on? Would the media still have maintained it as a non-communal crime? Hell no! You cannot cure these propagandists, Navika. They are like the rust bleach. Their every drop of blood spawns more of the same. They have been silent on more than 190 Muslim mob hate attacks on Hindus and Muslims over the past 3 years, including in Ranchi. where a Muslim mob segregated, yes, Savika, segregated bus passengers based on their religion before wanting to set it on fire. None of these attacks elicit any outrage. Right from the fake church attacks narrative and running selective hate trackers to multiple stories of fake Jai Shri Ram slogan triggering, they have perfected selective outrage. So we know who Akhlaq was. But do we know who was Banu or Khetaram Bhil or Savant Rathod or Vidhu Jain or Ayub or Farooq or Bharat Yadav who was lynched after being called a kafir? Because for them, violence is mainstream, always by the BJP, never by anyone else. You keep on demonizing only one community, one religion, one ideology. You keep on being selective, and sooner or later, it comes back to bite you. This is exactly what Dr. Ambedkar warned us against, but they quote him selectively too. You can't cure them, you have to endure them, Navika.
What do you make of this? What do you make of the shenanigans we've seen all day today?
Yeah, good evening, Rahul, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. I've been waiting very patiently for my time and hearing the two lawyers, erudite lawyers, and my good friends at loggerheads. So please, I request the courtesy of a couple of minutes. Rahul, as they say, Purja Purja kat mare, kabahu na chhade khet, pagga wohi. Forget 50 police officers, even sawa lakh of them wouldn't have been able to tame Tejinder Bagga. But honestly, what happened was not only illegal, but also crooked, draconian, and downright unacceptable. And after this, if you still believe that Arvind Kejriwal is different from others, then you are one who rubs his nails every morning to cure baldness. It is the party that celebrates anarchy, that perfected hypocrisy, that bought out much of the media with taxpayers' money, that publicly implored citizens to elect goons and thugs just so that BJP can be defeated, and that is now persecuting citizens for their tweets. Oh, the irony that Kejriwal wants a man arrested because of a few tweets against him, when all his waking life, the only thing he has ever done is to abuse, slander, vilify everyone under the sun. If Anil Ambani had got 1 rupee for every time he was abused and slandered by Kejriwal, trust me, Rahul, he'd have paid back all his loans and forget his brother. He would have surpassed even Elon Musk in personal wealth.
Anand.
Rahul, can I not be interrupted, please? Did I interrupt anyone for 20 minutes?
You're being unfair.
No, why are you interrupting
what
me?
What about Jignesh Mevani being punished for his tweets?
Please.
Where was
Abhishek Sudhir, I'm muting you. I'm muting you, please. Please stop interrupting people. You can. I said to you, there is a rule of engagement. Please. I said, don't do this, please. I'm going to mute you otherwise. This is not, Tamashbeen channel. Please don't do it. Let's just keep it to civility. Please, let him finish. He never interrupted you, for God's sakes. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan, go ahead.
Yes, and as I was about to say, before Sudhir interrupted me because he can't even listen to me for more than a minute. To be serious, Rahul, this isn't a party-specific or Kejriwal-specific issue. Every party's hands are covered in blood. From Congress to BJP to AAP to TMC, they have all brutally stifled free speech. Just last week, Assam police went all the way to Gujarat and arrested MLA Mevani for his sarcastic tweets on PM Modi. The allegations were the same AAP is making now on Bagga, that Mevani was inciting and disturbing peace. It sickens me when BJP in Gujarat uses sedition to arrest a journalist who criticized the CM's handling of COVID. It sickens me when Congress in Chhattisgarh uses it to arrest a man who complained of power cut. It sickens me when 10,000 people are charged with sedition under the NDA and 12,000 people are charged with sedition under the UPA, including 8,500 people in a single day. All politicians are equally guilty, but the most guilty is the Congress party that was supposed to cradle and feed baby India into a robust, confident, free and liberal adult nation. और यहाँ पहुँच गए हम. The stark reality, Rahul, is that we don't have a constitution that respects dissent. We have laws and articles and amendments that, rather than protect the rights of the dissenter, protect those who violate his rights. Everything is grey. Everything is subject to something. Everything is primed for offending religious sensibilities, and all parties and politicians are equally guilty. Rahul, just 30 seconds. If I am not in jail right now, Rahul, it is because the state has decided that I need not be jailed. Dozens are arrested every week for offending religious sensibilities under 295A. Brought in by the British after Mahatma Gandhi outraged against the booklet Rangila Rasool. Truth is, there was more respect for dissent in ancient India than there is in the modern. My humble request to those who commission the Ambedkar statue next, team up his bronze spectacles, Let him not see this India, or he will cry tears of stone.
But Dr. Ranganathan, this is an issue. You know, we are trying to pigeonhole this issue, make it about some Maharashtra, Mumbai squabble between the Thackeray. But no, this is actually an issue of national concern.
No, absolutely. Good evening, Rahul, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. I want to state on record that, Rahul, you gave rather expectedly 11 minutes to my good friend Tehseen, which is about 11 minutes more than what Rahul Gandhi spends in parliament. And as far as my good friend Tehseen saying, mocking Raj Thackeray of being a national leader, let me remind him that his favorite got trashed in Amethi right now is in Kathmandu, while Smriti Irani is in Wayanad. So maybe in 2024, the national leader of great national importance might lose Wayanad as well. And in 2029, maybe some seat in Bangkok, and 2033 in Italy. But let me come back to this topic, Rahul. Rahul, the fact of the matter is that in this country, secularism and appeasement are two sides of the same coin. And whichever politician flips it, says secularism, I win, appeasement, you lose. And Tehseen is quite right when he mentioned that Dev Fadnavis ruled Maharashtra for 5 years. He could also have complied with the Supreme Court orders. And if I need to be really critical, in fact, I'm not, I praise Yogi Adityanath, but I say Yogi Adityanath is following the Supreme Court orders right now, but he has been ruling UP for 5 years. He didn't do that. Baral, Der Aay Durust Aay, Yogi has removed 50,000 illegal loudspeakers and reduced the level of 64,000 more, which is fantastic. But as George Orwell says, and to paraphrase George Orwell, in a time of universal minority appeasement, Rahul, just following the court order seems like a revolutionary act. It seems churlish for me to even point this out, that for 15 years, we have been subjecting Indians, billions of Indians, to noise pollution, which should not be there. And here I do agree with the courts. You remember, Rahul, I disagreed with the Karnataka High Court when it said that hijab is not essential. I disagreed with that. But here I agree that loudspeaker is not essential to either Islam or to any other religion. It should not be there, period. Forget about reducing the limits of the volume of loudspeaker. Loudspeaker should not be there. It causes noise pollution. The other thing that I don't know whether we are ensconced in this politically correct, woke atmosphere that we can even discuss this fact, that how hurtful Azan is to atheists and people of other religion. Because the essence of Azan or Adhan is 4062, which is that there is no God except Allah and no other deity has the right to be worshipped but Allah. Imagine this bleated out 5 times a day. So, you know, let's not even go there, because people would say that, oh, you're a bigot, you're saying this. But the fact of the matter is, and Tehseen, my good friend, saying we are discussing Hindu-Muslim. Well, what else is there to discuss? It is the great divider in chief. That is religion. It has caused riots. It has caused so much pogrom. It has caused so much misery to people who are not religious. Tehseen, you call yourself an atheist. Are you not offended if somebody is telling you 5 times a day that, look, there is no other God except Allah? I would be offended if somebody says, you know, if I was a Muslim or a Hindu, if somebody says there is no God except Krishna or Shiva, why won't I be?